Gamers, gals, and my non-binary pals. I love yapping. I love complaining about the same shit every week, every day, every minute. Time is a flat circle. Life is an Ouroboros that eats its own tail, and we will forever be complaining about the same goddamn spreadsheet drama. And this time is no different. But before we get into today's video, this video is brought to you by Summoner's Nexus. Summoner's Nexus is a digital indie TCG that's been in development for the past 4 years out of love for games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Marvel Snap. The game is designed for a dynamic back and forth with both players taking turns simultaneously and neither player ever feeling completely shut out of the game or feel like they're watching their opponent perform a cutscene while they're comboing off. The game is currently available in early alpha, which is completely free to download and play on both Android and iOS, with a PC port coming in the near future. With hundreds of cards currently in rotation and a passionate team putting everything on the line behind it, I highly recommend for you all to give Summoner's Nexus a look at the link on screen and in the description down below. Thank you again to Summoner's Nexus. So YCS Providence just wrapped up, and while I will have a separate video talking about that and Maliss's general failure, we do have Jib, who made top 8. I think he was the best run for Maliss at YCS Providence. I lied, it made top 4, but you know, it did lose to like good decks. Maliss did make a pretty deep run, but you can kind of tell it started to fall off a lot. But anyways, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video isn't to be like, wow, I hate Maliss, because I think that deck is lame and dumb and stupid as shit. Because it is, but you know, shout out to Joe'sworm. The general idea is that, oh my god, everyone and their moms apparently bought a Maliss spreadsheet. Jib, great event, ended up losing in top 8, wish I could have gone further. Deck profile explaining things will be out tomorrow on the JNC YouTube channel. If you play GWC, you're behind. And Pack put out a little tweet that is mysteriously now deleted. If you main GWC, you're behind. If you play Access Code Talker, you're lost. Which is very funny because he played, he did not play Adignister Access Code Talker, and he did not main GWC, which is very, very interesting considering like GWC is a very integral part of the deck, and what the deck is trying to do is like a sort of pseudo interrupt and way to like just pop off on your opponent's turn with White Binder, and the allied code Adignister is like really, really strong. Like, oh my god, that card is disgusting. But that brings up a very, very unique prospect. You got James Bro ISP. I'm totally lost on why a couple of weeks ago I was trying to get up to speed for Alliance Insight following Jabrel's spreadsheet that played both of these cards, and now the spreadsheet makers tell me I'm behind for using their resource. And that is very, very, very true. Like, if you're gonna create a paid resource, it is very, very strange how you do not follow through on what you believe is your own paid resource, or at the very least update said resource in order to account for the new innovation. That is my personal theory. Let's look at my Mitsurugi spreadsheet. Whenever I like make a new deck, I make like a billion versions of decks. Like most of these decks have like very minute changes. But for the most part, whenever I update the deck, I always include like the timestamp of the deck that I'm changing it for, as well as like which version I'm currently using. My currently playing version of this deck is like the Ouroboros, evil, fucked up 52 card pickup version of Mitsurugi Ryzeal. I'm not gonna pretend like this is the greatest deck ever made, but I am going to say that this is realistically what I am playing moving forward. This sounds like those people who sell courses on how to make money. It reminds me a lot of like those TikTok investors who are like, can't wait to take a helicopter to the office in order to save time on my morning commute. Or like, I own like a $50 million mansion in the Beverly Hills. DM me to learn how I do it. And it's like, all right, bro. I feel like the game is certainly afoot here in regards to how much of this is really honest. Or the Predablast. We don't talk about Predaplay Brain Infusion. That was actually just a pump and dump, and everyone refused to talk about it. Anyways, there's sort of like transparency between what creators play versus what creators offer to the public at a paid price. By the way, these paid prices are very expensive. If you want to buy a spreadsheet, $35. Oh my god, he knocked it down from 40. That's hella funny. It used to be 40. Oh, well, all the other ones are $40. $30, $35, 40. How do you price check this? $35 to $40 for just one spreadsheet. $125 for tournament prep, or $250 if you want the full inclusive package. And if you want to join the inner circle, it is $200. $200? $200? That's a lot of money. But it is a little frustrating when those who aren't in the inner circle, or those who even do have access to the inner circle or don't have access to these resources, which we don't know because I personally don't know a single person who willingly spent money on a spreadsheet. Outside of exactly one person. One guy at my locals bought the Lucas Sacco Mitsu sheet, and I'm like, should have just used mine. It was actually free. Like, Ryan Yu is a very, very accomplished player, and he did manage to, after a very long retirement, he did make top 16 at YCS Providence with Maliss, with a deck that Pack gave him. Very interesting. They told me last minute to not main GWC. Yeah, he didn't play GWC. He didn't play access code at Ignister. It was very, very interesting that the real inner circle versus the people who are paying $200 a month, what some people are getting versus what some people aren't getting. Very, very interesting. So now we have Pack's little statement. We have his Cinder apology letter, one might say. 1, thanks for buying the sheet. Really appreciate the support. Thanks for the 35 bucks. It's paying for my fucking sweet green, I guess. 2, the sheet will be updated tonight after I'm off work. 3, you're not actually behind. This is just a rage bait troll post. Not maining GWC is a crazy risk, but we only took it to avoid the 10% chance to avoid breaking on it. Would run it back though, but if Bell got more popular, it's probably worth maining GWC. 4, spreadsheets are designed to teach you the basic lines. Okay, actually, first of all, why would you main GWC if Bell is more popular? Wouldn't it stop your plays? That's like saying, yes, every main deck is playing Droll and Lockbird. You should play Mitsurugi. Like, I feel like these things are not very congruent, but whatever. Updating after YCS in a while. Yep. Don't worry, guys. I know the next YCS is in like 2 more months, but you'll be prepped for those 2 months with the new updated spreadsheet. Next month, we're putting GWC back in. Fuck it. You have to make your own decisions about whether certain tech cards are worth playing in a specific event, which will not be covered in any sheet. And I'd argue that that's not 100% correct. I would argue that if you are selling a course for $200, you have your little spreadsheet for a bajillion trillion dollars, and you have a whole inner circle. It's literally called an inner circle, by the way. Then I think that you should have an inherent duty to be like, at inner circle on Discord, this is the list that we are playing, and here's the spreadsheet updated, and here is the deck list updated, and here is why we made these changes. Whenever I talk about testing with one of my friends, this is my friend Zach. He is an IRL testing partner, wonderful guy. Also dropped out of Stanford, represent. Actually, I think he graduated, but that's not the point. Like, literally, the day of, I'm in the lab. I'm testing combos. I'm like, yeah, you know, it's pretty good. In Mitsurugi Ryzeal, when we, like, quote-unquote, found out about Ouroboros loops, which is something that was more or less, like, hidden away, unless you watched, like, very high-rated DB, and we're watching, like, heraldic beast stuff. Also, shout out to Michael Park, my goat. Michael Park, my man. You had no idea that these combos even existed in like any capacity. Like, you had to be like extremely up to date in order to even like pretend that these combos were in your repertoire. Like, look at this shit. You're telling me like that normal people figured this out? Absolutely not. I don't know, this combo sucks. Good job, me. Get a faster spreadsheet upgrade for another $20. It should be like the Disneyland Fast Pass. Live updates to the spreadsheet. Live inner circle for an extra $50 a month. Yeah. But I always include updates to my spreadsheets. Actually, I could do that right now. Like, if you check my Mitsurugi stuff, on May 3rd, I updated this shit literally live, where I put in the fucking hand loop combos. If I'm able to do this from my bedroom as a free resource that people have told me that they use and they have seen success with it, I think that Pack and his team, they not only should have the ability, but arguably a moral duty to do so. I think it's actually pretty scummy to try and hide that technology specifically for an event from people who are paying you to get the most live updated information possible. If you are going to say this course or this whatever is exactly what I would do, this is everything you will ever need to know, this is like the live update stock trading whatever, then I think that like you should just objectively be sharing that resource with everyone. There's no reason to hide it. Why would you hide it? This was rage bait. But yes, we did immediately cut it after the event, after you bought our spreadsheet. And blocked. We've got Scarlon. Had the take for a while that the clique of pros might not be trustworthy when they constantly tell you they don't know what's good, ask for your money to find out what's good, then what's good conveniently changes when they top an event and their deck list is public as a result. You know, I don't really like Scarlon, but clap, clap, clap. 3 golf claps for you, Scarlon, for having the goated take. I'm very proud of you. If only all of your takes were like this. Have you considered that the spreadsheet is a resource that covers as many bases as possible for all kinds of players, even combos and lines that they might not necessarily think that are optimal, but are included anyways for those that want to see them? Well, I'd have to have access to the full sheet to know for sure. At the very least, the demo tells you to always end on allied code. I think it'd be more transparent to say in your documentation, I think this is unoptimal, rather than only after an event. And she actually did receive a spreadsheet, and there's no mention of it of Bomber Dragon or not playing allies like GWC. Very curious. And you could be like, oh, this was like a last minute decision, or this was like an ABC decision. These are not last minute decisions, or at least not as last minute as you like to think they are. What's actually a last minute decision is when I'm like DMing Michael Park and he's telling me about heraldic cards. I immediately go on TCG Player and buy out every single copy of fucking Heraldic Beast Leo for $8 for no goddamn reason. I just close my eyes and I put my faith into the Asian man. But again, for people like Michael, for people like Pac, for people like Jabrel, these are people who are testing almost every single day. These are people who are going to spend a lot of money and resources to go to these events. And as a result, it's not like they make, for the most part, the night before an event, they're like, yes, I'm going to change my deck list last minute. By the way, you can't even do that because, you know, everyone knows that you have to pre-register for YCSs and have your deck list submitted like a couple days in advance at the absolute latest. To be fair, if you're playing Maliss, you're behind. Objectively correct, Farfa. Don't play Maliss, that deck sucks. We'll get more into that later. It is just a very, very frustrating experience to know that the current state of competitive Yu-Gi-Oh is basically just TikTok live day trading courses. But that's just me. Let me know what your thoughts are on, again, another goddamn iteration of the same spreadsheet drama 5 million times over. And yeah, let me know if you're playing Maliss, because if you're playing Maliss, you're behind. Goodbye forever.